I experienced something that I feel like brought me a lot closer to my clients. And that was that. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Closing with Corey podcast, episode number 15. I hope everybody is having a good week, a good month. I know that there's been a little bit of a gap from this episode, from the last episode. I'll kind of get into that in a little bit. First and foremost, I don't know if you can see, but I have a bit of a new scenery around me. So shout out to the guys over at Media X Marketing. They got a new place over in Somerville. Absolutely awesome. Check it out. Got Ben back there. I'm always sitting here talking as if I'm just talking to the camera, but there's a guy behind the camera over there. So I wanted to start this one off by saying that I experienced something that I feel like brought me a lot closer to my clients over the past, I would say, probably 2 to 3 months. And that was that I sold my own place and I bought a new place. Now, it's not my first property that I sold and not my first property that I purchased, but I was doing them simultaneously in the sense of to selling to buy. And I know that a lot of my clients right now are in a similar situation where they are having to sell their current property in order to purchase another property. If there's anything that I realized, number one, how much stress is going to naturally come from that process. And number two, I realized how important customer service is when it comes down to really anything in life. I mean, customer service, we deal with this on a day-to-day basis, whether you're going to Starbucks or whether you're going to the store, whether you're going to wherever. There's some form of customer service that everybody is dealing with. And I just realized on how important customer service is for the real estate process and for a real estate transaction. I am reading a book right now. It's called The Greatest Mindset. And part of one of the chapters says that the highest level of intelligence belongs to those who desire to spread joy by serving others. So I am in the service industry at the end of the day. I am serving my clients. I'm serving my buyers. I'm serving my sellers. And I took that firsthand experience to think about a better way that I'm going to be able to serve them. And I think that the most stress came from a lot of unknowns and a lot of, I don't want to say lack of communication, because everybody that I worked with, I'm very grateful for. It was an amazing process from the lending end to the attorney end to the inspection end. But I just realized that some of those uncertainties can come up and some of those stresses can come up just from whether it's a lack of communication or, most importantly, just that section of unknown where you just don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to be coming from this, or you're waiting on to hear from somebody. So it's that unknown. It's that waiting process. And I really just realized that if I am going to better serve my buyers, if I'm going to better serve my sellers, I have to look at the entire process on how I can help them and service them in every area of the transaction. Obviously, I'm going to be hired as your real estate agent, but I'm also going to be your real estate advisor, to where I could help and I can advise as far as what to expect when the attorney review process starts up, on what to expect when the inspection process starts up. All of those things and all those questions I can hopefully answer before they even come up to be a question. So that way that stress is going to be reduced a little bit. You can't eliminate stress when you're buying a home and selling a home, let alone doing them both at the same time. But if I'm able to limit them a little bit, I feel like I'm doing my due diligence on the service industry and serving my clients. What I kind of realized, and again, kind of just going into customer service, and just personal experiences, and whether, like I said, whether it's me just calling up, Verizon, calling up Xfinity, calling up these places, whether it's me going into Home Depot, as a buyer or a seller, you are coming to a realtor for guidance and for knowledge, right? So if I'm going into Home Depot and I'm asking somebody, hey, where is so-and-so? And they basically just straight up look at me and they're like, I don't know. I have no idea. They're not able to guide me. They're not able to make a phone call. They're not able, to see where this item is that I'm looking for. I'm left to kind of think to myself, okay, out of the two of us here, who should probably know this answer? Should I have to do the research myself to find the product at this place that you're working at? Or should the person who is in the same uniform as the logo outside be able to answer that question, right? And I'm not saying I'm just saying in general, these are things that I've realized, and I just feel like the quality of the customer service has unfortunately gone down. And I feel like I'm taking that and I'm learning from those experiences so that I can better judge these types of situations that my buyers and my sellers are in. So then I can hopefully almost overcompensate, because, there's going to be a lot of times in a transaction where nothing's really going on. We're either out of attorney review and we have like a waiting period until inspections, or we just did inspections and we're going to have a waiting period because we just submitted the letter of requests. And I think maybe just checking in and saying, hey, just so you know, everything's going smooth right now. We're waiting to hear back from the attorney on the other side. All of those things are just reassurance, and all of those are part of that customer service experience, just to make sure from that first initial time that you reach out to me all the way to the closing day. And then beyond that, I'm going to be able to help serve you and service any questions and needs that come up when it comes down to real estate in general. All right, guys, let's take a quick break to talk about Simplicity Title. You may not know this, but when you're buying a home, there is a lot of work that goes into getting to your closing, including title insurance. Title insurance is a financial protection due to property defects for mortgage lenders and home buyers. But let's keep it simple. For over 15 years, Simplicity Title has been protecting buyers with their expert teams working on all the documents that you need to get through a closing in a fraud protection process that keeps your money safe. You can check out Simplicity Title's programs on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or go to learn.simplicity.com to learn more about them. You want to talk to somebody, call 877-848-5320 or send an email to info@simplicitytitle.com. and tell them that Corey Fandel sent you. Simplicity Title, your title made simple. Let's get back to it. Another thing that I realized as well, too, is that all of this comes into being a trial and error. I can try so many different things to see what system is going to work the best. And that's kind of what I've done. I've developed a system that is really just, I didn't even realize it when I was doing it, but it was much so based in that customer service, to where I want to be able to make sure that I am supplying as much information as I possibly can. But with that is going to be, as I said, a trial and error. For example, something that I've realized on the selling side, what I typically do is I will supply my buyers and my sellers both with an itinerary on what to expect in the coming days, weeks, months, all the way leading up until closing. I made the mistake and I made the error of thinking that all of my clients thoroughly read all of my emails. And that's nothing to say that they're skipping through things, but there's a lot that's going on in a buyer's mind, as I just realized, and there's a lot that's going on in a seller's mind as well, too. So this long, extensive email is going to be great because it's packed with a bunch of great information, and it's packed with dates and with timelines and what we need to do, and almost like a checklist on getting us all the way to that closing date. But they're probably getting an email from their attorney. They're probably getting an email from their insurance company. They have a lot that's going on and a lot on their plate. So I made the error of just basically saying, hey, everybody listens and looks at every single one of the emails that I send over, every single one of the documents, every single one of the videos that I customize and send over. And for example, for the selling itinerary, one of the main points on there is that the seller needs to supply, in most counties and in most townships, a certificate of occupancy. Basically saying like, hey, this house is okay to be occupied by the next buyer. They do an inspection through the township, do a fire cert, the fire extinguisher, CO, all that type of stuff. So I said, okay, perfect. A couple of days before closing day was set and ready to go, reached out to the seller and I said, hey, whenever you get a chance, can you please send me over that CO so I can supply it to the attorney? And then I got a text message back saying, what is the CO? And at that point, I was like, shit, I know that I should know what this is. And it was on my end to be able to better explain and to better educate my seller on what was needed, and also to be able to check in and make sure that they knew what was going on. So, I mean, long story short, we had to do a rush inspection. I was the one that had to install the smoke alarms, the fire extinguisher, but I learned from that experience. That's part of the trial and error. The trial was just sending out this message, and the error was just thinking that everybody was going to be able to read that, and then also be able to digest what's needed in order to be able to supply that. So now, again, I switched it up a little bit. After that, I send over a text message. After that, a couple of days afterwards, I send over another text message or phone call to say, hey, were you able to order that CO? If you need any help, I can personally help you. I have a person now, too, that I can send over. They'll be able to assist on installing the smoke alarms, installing the fire extinguisher, all that type of stuff. So all leading back to providing the best possible customer service that I possibly can. And that's kind of what it's all about. And that's what leading into this fall market is what I'm going to be focusing on. I mean, it's something that I think that I primarily focus on when it comes down to my clients is providing the best possible service. But now coming off of that experience and seeing how stressed I was during the selling process, how stressed I was during the buying process, I'm taking all those firsthand experiences and I'm going to learn from those to then be able to provide something to my buyers and sellers so they can not experience the same stresses that I did when purchasing a home or when selling a home. So as always, I really appreciate everybody. Listen, if anyone has any firsthand experiences, whether it is real estate related or not, feel free to, reach out about it. If I can learn from someone else's experiences and someone else's lessons that they learned, that's great. It's just going to be more quality that I'm able to provide throughout that customer service. As always, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for the fall and all the new content that's coming. I'll see you guys soon.